When you test your solution to the challenge presented in the previous video, the interface should look something like this. There are two methods, the constructor and the Fibonacci method. The constructor is void, but the Fibonacci method takes an integer. When you input an integer into the method, it should return the correct value. For instance, when I type in 20 and press enter, it returns 10,946. If your method returns an integer, but it's either a bit more than half of this value or a bit less than twice this value, then you're probably treating the index incorrectly. Remember that the sequence starts at index 0, not 1, and the first two values both count as a part of the sequence. Now let's look at the code that makes this solution work. For this challenge, I have created a new dynamic web project. Then, in the source folder, I created a package called Fibonacci. It's very important to create a package rather than using the default package for web services. If you use the default package, then you'll get an invocation target exception when you try to test. Within this package, I have the class, also called Fibonacci, that contains the actual code for the web service. As with the Hello World example, this class has the @WebService annotation in front of the class descriptor. This annotation is vital as a way of indicating to the server that this is, in fact, a web service. The actual algorithm for calculating the Fibonacci number is fairly simple. Given an index, I instantiate the first two values as a equals 1 and b equals 1, and then I loop from 1 to the index value. Within each loop, I update the values such that a becomes b and b becomes the sum of a plus b. Then I simply return the final value for b. This is just one of the many ways of calculating the Fibonacci sequence, so most solutions that produce the same results are going to be just fine. It's a good idea to avoid a recursive solution, though, because that will take an enormous amount of time to calculate and will dramatically slow down your program. For this simple web service, this method is all the code you need. Then you can just right-click on the server, choose Add and Remove, and ensure that the service is deployed on the server. Once the service is deployed and the server is republished, it can be tested through the same interface as the other web services.